of 10.
We don't want to be represented by the negative aspects of our culture and our community. Niggas. We don't want to be represented by that.
But here's the thing, though. That's not most of us. You know what I'm saying? And we don't represent ourselves in that way. You know what I'm saying? You talking about the white media that does that? Right? You know what I'm saying? That make it seem like black people always commit most of the crime and black people are always the part of the problem. Fuck the bullshit. It's your boy Grubs. You already know what it is. We about to hop straight into it. Oh, shit. Stop playing, bro, for real.
The talk of yours that really got me so interested in what your message is, is your four, I think it's titled The Four Types of Black Americans.
Yeah.
I'd love for you to share a little bit about that here with me. So what are the four types?
Blacks, Negroes, niggas, niggers. So the first group being blacks. Like I said, hardworking, honest. We as black people.
Why do we gotta categorize our own people? Why can't we categorize nobody else? Why don't white people get categorized as different type of white people? Why don't we categorize as different type of Asian people? Different type of Hispanics or whatever, or Latinos? Why we gotta get broken down into categories? All right, and see, yeah, every race does have their bottom of the barrel people, but the problem is they make it seem like our bottom of the barrel people are causing the most problem in this country, and that's not the reality. And when you look at the facts, right? Because overall, you know what I'm saying, white Americans, well, white men got more felony convictions than black men anyway, right? If you look at the facts, you know, and you want to say black men are you know what? I could go in. Let's watch the video, man, because I got more.
It's only 20% of the population. We know exactly where we want to go.
Closer to 10. If we're 13, you round up. If you round down, that's closer to 10.
We don't want to be represented by the negative aspects of our culture and our community. Niggas. We don't want to be represented by that.
But here's the thing, though. That's not most of us. You know what I'm saying? And we don't represent ourselves in that way. You know what I'm saying? You talking about the white media that does that? Right? You know what I'm saying? That make it seem like black people always commit most of the crime and black people are always the part of the problem? No. That's not the case. That's how their media represents us. Right? But if you live in the real black world and you really understand black Americans, right? Even in the hood, right? You understand that there are actually a lot of brothers, right? Actually, most black men, statistically speaking, are getting up and going to work every day doing what they're supposed to do. There are more black men, right, that are single and childless than black men who have kids. Okay? You got to understand that. There's more brothers out here doing what they're supposed to do than not doing what they're supposed to do. And that's where people get the game fucked up. And then you got I can already tell. You got self-hating niggas like this. Right? Right? Who got all this shit to say about the fucked up black people. You know what I mean? The fucked up niggas in the hood or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And think that just because they speak like this in this manner, that they're going to be accepted by white people. But here's the thing, right? You got some white people that might accept you, but then those white nationalists or supremacists you trying to be cool with, nigga, you forgot that they don't fuck with you because you're fucking black. Right? They don't fuck with you. But let's get to this. Let's get to this point.
Doesn't matter if they're Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter if they're rich or poor. They don't want to be represented by a culture that's toxic. They don't want to be represented by people who are taking advantage of them. We as black people, we want to be represented by those who are going to be in our interests and support us as a people and drive us forward as a people.
What other people do you think is going to be willing to do that? You think white people will do? Let's hear this.
So like I said, it's your average black person that speaks well, hardworking, God-loving, country-loving. They're not going to sit back and blame someone for their shortcomings, complain about, well, I can't get by because of something that happened a century before they existed. No, they're motivated to do more with what they have and build upon that. I mean, we live in America. What the fuck?
Okay. We got to break down some facts here, okay? All right. Slavery in general, right? I get what he's trying to say, all right? Niggas don't blame slavery overall for the reason they fucked up, all right? At the end of the day, we can understand that we live in a world, the black community is at where it's at for a certain reason, all right? There has been systematic attacks against black Americans, okay? And we have proof of this, all right? The Oklahoma bombings, right? I'm in Philly. The Move movement bombings, right? We've seen the system beat down our people, kill all of our activists, from Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? Fucking Huey P. Newton. Killing all of our leaders, right? And be surprised why the community is the way it is. Not only to mention the crack epidemic, right? Redlining. Not also to mention, you know what I mean, mass incarceration rates, you know, the fucked up school systems. All of this happened around the same time as well. This broke the black community more than anyone else. And these are all facts, right? Why do you not bring up history to show why people are the way they are, right? And then when you want to tell people to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, right? Because that's what they say we should do, right? Why don't you say that to the other people across the world? Especially when it be foreign niggas talking, right? Or you got other black Americans like this talking. Why don't you say that to the people in Africa that's digging for diamonds? Why can't they pull themselves up by the bootstraps and get themselves right in their own country? If everything is just fine and dandy and the system ain't holding nobody back, the system don't do nothing to nobody. The government doesn't fuck nobody over. The government hasn't taken money from nobody. The government hasn't raised the cost of living, fucked up inflation. Come on, bro. Nothing. And it's at a point where even white Americans are feeling it now.
I'm a black American. I could be somewhere in Angola. I can be somewhere in Zimbabwe. That's a different experience. And broadly, that's black in the whole sense, right? But a black American and African is completely different. We have the greatest amount of opportunity and wealth, and we don't do anything with it. But black people like myself, the 20%, we're not going to sit back and keep our heads down. We're going to keep our heads forward.
When you say first of all, what do you mean we have the same tools of wealth as other white Americans? Not all blacks do. No. That's wrong. If we're being honest, factually speaking, there are white Americans who have a family of class wealth. If we're being honest, right? There's more wealth being passed down. How most people, when you walk into those wealthy neighborhoods, I'm not saying that there aren't white people who work hard for what they have, because there are, all right, and they have earned it. But a lot of wealth is passed down. It's generational, okay? So if you had a father, right, who owns, so let's say your father owns the fucking Flyers, the Philadelphia Flyers, a hockey team, right? And he got connections with multi-million-dollar companies, right? And he offers you a job. Not only does he offer you a job, you know what I'm saying, in your nice 4,000 square foot house that y'all live in, that you don't even have to move out of. And I'm not saying this is every white person with money reality, all right? Because I know there are white people that don't have money who struggle. But let's put the context really down, okay? There are more white people who have more wealth than black people, okay? And how most wealth is obtained, okay, is usually passed down through family, through businesses, through wealth. It's not just created from a single person just figuring out and then getting everybody rich. That's not how it works. All right. Excuse me the way I'm speaking. All right. I'm trying to get my thoughts out and everything clearly. So if I'm stuttering, fucking up my words, just bear with me. I'm trying to stay with you, please.
Keep it high. because we know exactly
And I'm trying to keep together what I'm saying.
where we're going to go and what we're going to do. That's the first part. The first part.
Not looking for a shortcut.
No shortcuts, no handouts, none of that. I don't want reparations, the greatest reparations package that I'm here in this country. I can prosper, I can live, I can exist. I'm not in Africa where the entire economic and social conditions are different. I'm not somewhere in the Caribbean where, it's close to America, but even with that, the economic.
But they gave other race groups reparations. The United States have given away money for reparations for shit that they ain't even do. Talking about? What are we talking about? They can get it, but we can't? And we from here? And the evidence of the damage is still done? It's still shown? Right? And I'm not begging for reparations. Most niggas man, listen, most black people I come across, they don't give a fuck about reparations for real. They just like, damn, I can't get no money. It's really in a manner of like, man, we not dependent on that shit. We not dependent, man, breaking my shit. We not dependent on that damn reparations. You got black men and women that got their own businesses, that got their own money, that are successful. Plenty of them. But why not talk about these? We only want to talk about these niggas. The fucked up niggas. But we don't put in the context of how the community, for one, got the way it was. Because it didn't just come that way overnight by black people waking up one day just saying, you know what I'm saying? Black women didn't wake up one day and just say, fuck this shit. I'm not going to listen to my man. I'm not going to do that. And then just wake up one day and say, fuck it, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to make a bunch of babies and go ghost my family and shoot up the fucking block. That ain't what happened. Okay? Systematic movements and systematic attacks. And if you do your research and you know what you're talking about, then you should understand this. And if you don't, you feel like I'm wrong, fine. You can feel like I'm fucking wrong. But do the fucking research.
Economic and social conditions are different. I'm in the United States.
And if you're going to have this same smoke for black people, have it for every race group. You better talk about white people like this, man. But most time, these guys don't.
Where my ancestors were enslaved, but guess what? They overcame it. And now they exist today. And I exist today because of them, because of their resilience, because of their sacrifice. Because they kept their heads high, believing that in the future, black men and women will be free. And we all as Americans will be free to do as we feel necessary to do for our own existence, for our own survival. So that's the first group. That's the 20% of the black community, the blacks right there.
And the second group?
My favorite, the house Negro. My favorite. Because that's an interesting, when you get into that, the modern day house Negro, they would say, people who don't like me would say, I'm a coon, I'm an Uncle Tom, I'm a house Negro. No. The people that really are both Democrat and Republican. This is more the politics conversation and more the power, economics.
See, and if you follow any part of politics and you really believe any part of Democrat and Republican, yeah, you're kind of a fucking idiot there too, be honest with you. Two sides of the same coin. All part of the government. All political parties set up to distract each other from the real problem. Okay? Don't matter. Don't matter which one you pick.
Class. Within the black community, you have black Democrats, and majority of black people vote Democrat. And you have the black conservative, the black Republican, which I fall into that category, but I'm my own thing. I really don't subscribe to a political party. I love my country, I love my people, and I want us to prosper. That's all that matters to me. I don't really care about if the Republican Party wins the midterms. I don't really care if I have a Republican president. I care about if I have a leader that can represent us as Americans. And of course, me being black, I want someone who can serve the interests of black people. If I was white, I want the same thing.
And let me ask you right now, with everything what Trump is doing, do you feel like the leader of your party is repping the people right now the proper way? With the medical cuts? Right? With the job market, the fucked up job market, putting us, sending our country to war, into a war that fucked up our money, put us into more debt. Come on now, bro. You got to know your facts and what you're speaking on, man.
So it's a very interesting conversation when you get into the difference and how they're really similar, both Democrat, Republican, black. The black Republican will sit back and tell you, especially now, they're very pro-Israel. They're very
and I'll tell you this too. I don't. And look, I'm gonna keep stopping the video. By the way, this is a reaction video. You don't like it? Get the fuck off this channel, please. This is what we do over here. I stop and I give my commentary, and I can't just watch it all the way through and do what I do after and not make any cuts because I'll get a copyright strike for that. Dumbass. And I could lose my channel. So I'm not fucking around doing no dumb shit and listening to y'all. And, you know what I mean? No. Like I was saying, there are black Americans that need to be held accountable, right? For the fucked up things that they do in the black community, right? Yeah, those niggas that fucking shoot shit and fuck in the games and shoot shit up and do all this crazy shit, yo, those niggas need to be held accountable. They need to be. And they need to be thrown in jail if they really destroying the community. And there's nothing positive about none of that street shit. None of it. And then you a dumb, and man, if you really believe this day and age as a black man that your only options are basketball and joining the streets, you're a fucking fool in 2026. You're a fool. With the access to information and technology we have nowadays, there are so much more ways you can do to get a bag. So do not act like it's one of the only options you have.
pro-establishment, and they don't really talk about the black issues because many of them are country blacks that never really had to live around the nigga shit, the nigga culture, which nigga culture is black culture is nigga culture. They never had to live around that. Or there are black kids who live in suburbia. You know, they went to nice schools. They may have gone to, the HBCUs, and they got bullied as black liberals and became conservative because they didn't want to be left out. Because they didn't want to be a part of, not without a group. They didn't want to be considered, I'm alone. They couldn't do the thinking, the critical thinking to build their own worldview and build their own identity. So they needed another group to fall into. So that, I despise them the most because they're the closest thing to me in terms of ideologically, in terms of voting. And they do a great disservice in trying to provide a viable alternative both socially and economically for black people. The black Democrat,
Okay, so when you're talking about these kinds of black people, right? Talking about the black person, right? Who looks up to like rap music and all that stuff as black culture, right? And you're talking about the disrespectful part of rap music and black culture, right? And then you're talking about the white I'm sorry, you're talking about the black people who go up in the black suburbs, right? And they have a different lifestyle, they have money, and they get bullied by the black kids with no money. First of all, in most realities, my nigga, that isn't even true. We're not jealous of other kids with money, bro. And I'm from the hood, and we hung out with rich kids. We hung out with other black people that had money. It's not jealousy among them like that most of the time. Honestly, depending on who you hanging with, right? So that narrative is just completely fucking wrong across the board. Second of all, right? When you describe two different environments, okay? Two different environments are going to breed two different cultures, okay? Understand something about the people that live in the street or in inner cities, okay? That live in these impoverished communities, all right? They're always going to have a different culture than the communities that got money. Because one thing that money creates, right, that poverty doesn't, is opportunity, right, and access to different things, okay? So when you have hood kids that do hood shit, right, at the end of the day, how can you put a narrative? First of all, and then you do got hood kids, first of all, that do make it to these big college, that do make it to these big colleges and these big universities and become successful. So And even if that's the exception to the rule you're you're completely fucking up and disregarding, okay? That would just still disprove your point that there are black people, right, who can and who do well in society even though they come from fucked up places. But even in most of those circumstances, right, if you have two people that come from two different environments, okay, and they have two different worlds, it's gonna have two different outcomes, okay, regardless. A person who had both their parents in their life and they both had money, they're gonna grow up. They have a more likely they have a more likely chance at growing up and being successful in their life. All right, getting more job opportunities, being financially okay, being financial, yeah. Like they're more offset because they have two parties, not only that help raise them, but that set them up. Whereas you got someone who lives in a low economic, high crime rate community, living with just their mother, right? Less options, right? So, and when there's less options, let's say there's less options among the mass, right, or among a good percentage, right? Wherever there's poverty, there's an immense mass of poverty. There's going to be crime, right? Not to mention when we talk about redlining, right? The way these communities are set up, they're set up for you to fail in a way. You being far away from the best schools, from the best jobs, but you being close to the liquor store, you being close to the gun store, you having all the tools around you to destroy your community. That's close. So all of this goes down for a reason, man. All right? And people need to understand that when it comes to black Americans. All right? And when it comes to black people. And I hate this fucking narrative, man. That our culture, that our culture, most of our people are fucked up and hood niggas. That's not the damn truth. There are more black men and black women that do what they're supposed to do every day. And it's not fair to them when niggas like this say dumbass shit like this, bro. It's not. And you can tell niggas like this is a loser.
He is, I can respect him because he understands exactly what he believes, as much as I disagree. One is grifting, the black Republican, the black conservative. The black Democrats are stupid. That's it. And stupid, all that means is, you know better, you're just choosing not to do better. They'll sit back and sell the poisonous lie that black people are oppressed, that, it's the white man's fault, that, we're forever to be victims. And they capitalize on that black pain and that black lack of drive, lack of purpose.
When you say capitalize on it, how much do we capitalize on it, bro? Because I don't see, in talking about it, just talking about it, in rap music and shit? What? Nigga, we don't build no brands off of being victims. What are you talking about? Rap music, that's it? Is that all you think black people look is that all you think black people do? Is that all you think black people know a lot about? Is rap music? Right? Are you gonna at least say sports? Right? Any working fields? Any trades? Any real skills? Come on, bro. Capitalize it off of what? Because last time I checked, you're less likely to get called back from a job when you have a black sounding name still. Who's capitalizing off of?
In order to win elections. Biggest example, Jasmine Crockett. I was just telling somebody this on the street. Jasmine Crockett. She didn't come from the ghetto. She didn't come from a poor background. She went to law school. She had a two-parent household. She's not somebody that came from the bottom. But when she gets on TV, she'll put on this act and she'll start talking and snapping and trying to act like the average black woman from, Compton or from Detroit.
But that's one black woman, bro. What about the black women that come from the hood and that act with class, that are successful, bro? Why don't you talk about women like them? And you say you don't see them nowhere. I, let's I feel like I'm pausing too much. Let's watch.
Or from Richmond or from anywhere you can name predominantly black. It's like you don't come from that. So why are you trying to pretend to be that? Why are you trying to? Because they want to sell nigga identity to win people who don't know, who are not informed, who are not educated on the current political conversation or current events in order to win. It's no different than what we see with immigration, what we see with so many different things. You have an elite that.
And it's also been proven that in black media, they don't promote black positivity as much. So that kind of actually puts creators in a fucked up space where to make it feel like if you want to get somewhere, you have to only talk about fucked up messages. Because you see it all the time in the YouTube algorithm. You see it all the time in music. What gets pushed with hip hop. You ever heard of conscious rap? You ever heard of gospel rap? They not about to push that shit. But they exist though.
Will use the bottom, the useful idiots, as a means to get what they want with immigration. I mean, people have always been coming to this country. People are always going to come to this country. But both parties use immigration as a way to maintain economic power. Republicans do that. And then Democrats, voting power. That's not good for us as a country. It's not good for me as a black person.
Man, look, I'm not even going to go in on this immigration argument. I really want to just talk about that first segment he had. But listen, my overall point of this video, man, all right, all this shit that people say about black people is just not true, all right? You know what I mean? I'm sick of other race groups, you know what I'm saying? I'm sick of other racists in those race groups commenting on our people like our people are a problem of the country. Why don't you say the same thing about your own people, bro? Why don't you talk about the number of grape statistics when it comes to white men? Why don't you talk about that just as much as you talk about that gang violence with us? But here's the thing, though, right? The gang violence don't even affect white people as much as it affects black people. So it ain't even your problem in your community. It's not like niggas can go up to a white neighborhood, into a white suburbs and shoot shit up and get away with it numerous times. No, we know that can't happen. We know that. Just had to get this off my chest, man. This the video. All right. Y'all stay up. Stay educated and stay known. I'm sorry. My words are all over the place. All right. My thoughts are all over the place, too. Let me get myself together. Stay educated and stay aware of what's going on out here, okay? All right? And do not be, and if you're a black man or a black woman, okay, you know what I'm saying, do not be no self-hating nigga. Listen, bro, I don't fuck with none of that coon shit that goes on in our community. I don't fuck with none of that gang shit. I don't like the toxic culture at all. And it's sad, really. It really is. And it does need attention. All right. But we know that's not all of us. Right? And they put this shit, they put this shit and they put this image on the masses to fool us. To put us against each other. Stay on game, man. It's your boy Grubs. Y'all stay up, y'all stay cool, y'all stay down, y'all stay out the way. I'm out this motherfucker, man. Stop playing.